our syscoversary system discovery anniversary. Hey all and everybody, thanks for switching into Housemates for Life, a podcast powered by Plus, for Plus, and everybody else who wants to hear more about the insanely awesome world of plurality. You know the drill. Here we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful sides of sharing a body and mind. In this episode, this is a special episode. We want to celebrate a bit with you all our system discovery anniversary, our second one. And we talk a bit about our second year, how it's been for us, what we experienced, what we've learned, share a bit with you, and yeah, just hope you all have fun. We are the voices of just a rather very insane system, aka Jarvis. I am your host, Matt, and I'm here today with my handmaid, Will. If you enjoyed listening to our podcast, Housemates for Life, please tell a friend or more and leave a like, subscribe, rate, comment, and everything else you do to show your support and appreciation. Many thanks. And now, without further ado, let's get on with our show. Hello, this is Will here. Today's episode is going to be the most improvised we have so far. We took a few notes, really brief notes, just a few topics we want to talk about. But we didn't think about how to order this, and this is going to be a pain in the ass to edit this. I can see it already, or whatever. So, not sure if we're going through our past year as a system chronologically or topic by topic, maybe a mix of both. I think the easiest for now is just we will just pick topics on our list, talk about it, and see how they fit in what order. I don't know. Also, we actually intended to record this episode together, like switching in and out depending on who wants to talk about what, but since yesterday I felt like very much alone up front for the most part, and right now I'm like, yeah, I'm here, and on our schedule it says we should record this episode. I'm like, yeah, hi. Let's see how this goes. I hope my handmaids will come out at some point and talk about stuff. Alright, hi, this is Matt here right now talking, mostly. Will is still somewhere around, and it's difficult for me to focus on my own self, but I will do my best, so here we go. Maybe I should first tell you about what was our syscoversary system discovery anniversary. So again, it is soon from this point now recording, or I don't know when we upload this episode actually, but soon we will have our system discovery anniversary, in short, syscoversary, I think. I don't know. So basically we're celebrating, it's kind of like celebrating your B-Day, but instead of celebrating the day that your body met the light of the day, we celebrate the time or day when we discovered our system, understood ourselves as a system. It's been 2 years since then. So we had our first syscoversary, yeah, not yesterday, last year. And lo and behold, this year it's our second one. I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm recording this after we recorded all the rest, so it's just some random noise that I just shoved in between. For the rest of the episode, we will just reflect a bit on our second year of systemhood. and hope you enjoy. This is just us rambling a bit, and maybe there are a few bits and pieces that you can pick up and compare to your own experience or use for your own experience. Enjoy. We thought we start with telling you where we left off last year after our first system discovery anniversary. So speaking of November 2022, and after the first year, so the first year was chaos, it was madness. We just discovered our system, we were caught up in a lot of chaos regarding our job stuff, and there was a lot we needed to manage and needed to take care of, a lot of stuff we needed to get our head around, literally. So the first year of our systemhood, like being aware of our system, was mainly focused on coping with life, coping with ourselves. So yeah, our main goal was to be more grounded in life in general. So by the end of that first year of systemhood, we had a new job. We just got a new job. And we're taking care of financial security and stuff. And we were struggling a lot with burnout. I mean, we still do, but that was way more extreme back then. And so our main focus was reducing stress, getting our life, external life mainly, more in order, and being prepared basically for the second year of systemhood to actually figure out what the fuck is going on. So in the second year of systemhood, this is Matt talking, by the way, because I don't know, we are recording this a bit out of order, so it doesn't hurt to say this more often than not. So second year of discovery, second year of our systemhood, being aware of our system, we focused more on hobbies and lifestyle. So in the first year, our focus was very, very much internal, very much on actually discovering our system. Like discovery was actually discovering plurality, discovering that it's an existing concept, that there are other people out there feeling the same or similar to us, and blah blah blah. But then actually we had to discover or rediscover things about ourselves, about our system. We needed to get to know each other, sort things out, who's who in our system, who did what, who's good at which things, and so on and so on and so on. But this year, the second year, we said, so we were at a more, let's say, stable position, internally and especially externally. So we thought, okay, let's finally get on with life. Let's finally think about our lifestyle as a plural system, because I think when you're plural, there's time management is so utterly important. So that was our main focus this year. So we did less focus on internal system stuff. We feel like we got a good grasp on our system, who we are and stuff. There are still a lot of things to uncover, but for now that was actually good enough. Good enough to get on with life, external life. So in the second year, we focus more on our hobbies, our interests, things that actually bring joy to us. I think this is especially true for Will, because I don't know, do you want to talk about this? Yeah, I can. So this is Will here. Still trying to ground myself at front. And actually, figure out what am I going to say? What was I going to say? What was the question? Oh, hobbies, yeah. So in the first year I struggled a lot. I still struggle a lot, but I used to struggle a lot more, I think. And I say that this year didn't start off well for me. I was still struggling with depression a lot from the first year still. And it seemed to get worse and worse rather than better. So I felt extremely hopeless at the beginning of this year. And I couldn't really find anything that brings me joy. I started to feel really desperate, which just furthered my depression. Because everything, or it felt like everything we did in our life in the past and also right now, feels like the joy that we get or feel is my handmaid's joy, but where's my place in all of this? What makes me actually feel good? What makes me actually look forward to in life and stuff like that? So at the beginning of this year, I had no clue really, and I'm still very much in the dark. But yeah, it really helped that this year we had a lot more time to focus on our hobbies and interests. So I'm still on a very unknown discovery path of my own self, but feel like it's not as dark as it used to be. So winter felt like shit last year. Maybe also because it was winter, I don't know. But during the summer, I felt a lot of creative energy, not just from me, but in the system as a whole. But I understood finally that I can actually feel these things. I can actually feel joy by myself. Or maybe not joy, but contentment. So if I compare now, not now like today, but like these past few months, if I compare those to the first few months of this year, holy shit, it's so much better. I feel so much better. I'm not really there yet where I want to be, but yeah, I feel way more hopeful, which doesn't mean I am very hopeful, but I'm lacking the word that I'm looking for right now. Something along the lines, it's okay. Now is okay. Something like that. I don't know. Thanks, Will. So this is Matt again. Coming back to the topic of time management, this is usually something that Will likes to talk about, or I shouldn't say that. I know he doesn't actually explicitly likes talking about it, but something he likes to think about a lot. Or maybe he doesn't like it, but he does it. He thinks a lot about time management. So usually he would probably be better suited to talk about this, but since we want to do this episode together and not be a solo production by Will, I will just talk about it, because why not? Maybe I actually enjoy it. I don't know. Actually, yeah, it's good that I am talking about it, Matt, because it was my idea. It was my idea. I'm a genius. So I noticed how much Will is struggling in the beginning of the year. I noticed how much he's stressed, how much he feels pushed around by other people, by appointments, by external life stuff that is going on, and he has no time to rest and focus on himself and stuff like that. So I noticed that. So I was like, you know what, buddy, we just drop everything right now, okay? Let's just drop it all. And like push a hard reset button or something like that. So in March, what we did then is we almost completely isolated ourselves. I mean, we still went to work, we met people, well, a few times we talked to friends or family, but all the time we had all the free time outside work and stuff we deliberately reserved for ourselves. And I think that was good. That was really good decision. That was really, really helpful. That was really necessary also. And then again, this was my idea. I'd like to brag about that. So since then, we have this new kind of time management schedule plan thingy, which isn't really completely, I don't know, perfectionalized. Do you say that word? Yet. And I don't think it needs to be, but it has improved our life quality so much. So we'll briefly talk about this. It's actually like a big topic, time management. But basically, before that, we were always thinking in weeks. So what's up next week? What is on the schedule? What do we have to do? What do we want to do? What are the plans? And we try to cram all the things that we want to do in just 1 week, which of course is, if you're a system with multiple people and multiple interests, that's a lot. That's really a lot. So we hear about systems who do it like they spend each day for like each day is dedicated to one system member and their interests and hobbies and stuff. And for us, this would just be too much. Like every day focusing on a different person in our system. So what we did, we stretched it out on a whole month. And the whole year also. So we start to think of time a bit on a bigger scale, so to speak. We also did independent of that, but it kind of goes hand in hand with that. Is at the beginning of the year we had this kind of New Year's resolution thing, where all of our system members got the chance to participate, but only 4 of us actually did. So that was me, Matt, Will, Yuri, and our headmate Jen, who's been more active in our main team. And each of us had the opportunity to name one goal for the year that they want to achieve, one habit they want to establish in our daily life, and a wish for the year. And that also worked out pretty well because, I don't know, New Year's resolutions are often associated with failing pretty quickly at the beginning of the year. But for us, it was deliberately like, okay, we have these few goals. And I have to say, we're lucky in the sense that we are a small system. So this is actually feasible for us. This might not be feasible for all systems. But so we had these few goals that were pretty important to each of us on the main team. And it felt doable. It was like we had these few goals and a whole fucking year to fulfill these goals. And anything that would come additionally would just be a plus on top, But we didn't feel pressure to achieve anything anytime soon in a short amount of time, anything. And yeah, I think that is definitely one thing we will take into the next year. And do that again, like evaluating our goals each year and making new plans each year. And it feels like even if we don't work on a specific goal every day or every week or whatever, it's still in our mind. We have regular check-ins in the system, so we don't forget about it. And it feels like we're constantly doing stuff that is in the best interest or is in the interest of all of our system members, or at least all of our system members who want to. So it feels like we're leaving no one behind, without actually actively having to constantly engage with our system. We don't have to engage with every system member every day with something, but we kind of, stretched it out on over the whole year, and that felt more suitable for us, more achievable for us. And so in order to lessen, let's say, pressure that we felt in the first year, it wasn't really pressure, it was necessary, but in the first year we engaged a lot with our system. We had regular meetings. We did a lot of journaling almost every day sometimes, then every week. We had system meetings every month. I mean, we still have system meetings every month, but they're not as deep, let's say, as they used to be. So we had less and less and less of that quote-unquote pressure to engage with our system directly. And instead, we have these monthly meetings or monthly check-ins on our goals, on our hobbies, our plans. So each month we can plan a bit. What do we want to do? How do we want to continue working on the goals of the year and stuff like that? So yeah, I think the gist of what I'm trying to say is, in the second year of our system, we engaged less with our system directly and actually started to express our system more actively on the outside. And yeah, with that, I mentioned this before, we welcomed a new system member in our headquarter team, like our main fronting team or main system team. So in the first year, it used to be just me, Matt, Will, and Yuri, who were kind of the main managers of our system. We participated in most of our system meetings before and discussed stuff, contemplated on stuff, and made decisions and everything. Always always asking, of course, our other system members, but most of them were or are more or less indifferent about what we do in our outside life. But yeah, our headmate Jen had expressed to wanting to be more involved, wanting to be more, or rather, her motivation was she wanted to get to know herself better. She noticed that because the three of us, were engaging so much with each other, we also got to learn a lot about our individual selves, and she wanted that too. So she said, "Yo, guys, I wanna join you, become part of this." So yeah, she's part of our monthly meetings now since this year, and has more opportunities to express herself internally and also externally. It's still not quite. We're still not at a point where she fronts frequently, like for example me and Will do. But yeah, we definitely welcome her on our main team. And before you ask, no, she doesn't want to talk on this podcast. I asked her before, but she does have no interest in talking to a microphone. She's even less interested in that than Will. Maybe in the future, we will see. One thing that I would say was significant to me this year, the second year of systemhood, is that I got to discover myself more. I learned to better understand myself, especially my needs and how to accommodate them. If I compare this to last year we struggled so much with external stuff in our life, and also with system discovery itself, like a lot of orientation, what it means to be plural and how to be plural, etc., etc. So last year I discovered a lot about myself in terms of my struggles, which wasn't very pleasant, to be honest. But this year, the second year of systemhood, even though it started off a bit rough for me personally, I also learned a lot of new things about me, and also learned about old things about me, like rediscovering things that kind of got lost in the past few years due to my handmaids dominating the front. And yeah, maybe I should just start from the beginning. So one thing I figured, I kind of view myself as a subsystem in a way, a median subsystem or something. But not really. It's just I like to use these terms to talk about myself. So just briefly, subsystem can mean so many different things for many different systems, but in essence, a subsystem means a system, a plural system within a system. So a handmaid or handmaids who understand themselves as a single unit, but a unit made up of multiple identities or parts. And that's how I view myself, in a way that I am a singular being. I am one handmaid of many in this whole system. But I also got a lot of very distinct parts. And this I really would call parts, in the sense that most singular people probably talk about their inner selves. And viewing myself this way just started, I started viewing myself in that way beginning of this year. And it helped me to gain a little more orientation in all the chaos going on in our life and our inside of us. And it helps me to maintain some sort of perspective on myself, because being part of a system is confusing as fuck, if we haven't mentioned that before on this podcast. But also being the moody person that I am, like not independently, but separate from my handmaids, I fluctuate a lot in how I think and feel. And that can be extremely disorienting at times. It can feel like losing your mind, not really understanding yourself, not really understanding what you actually want or need or whatever. So by kind of naming these different parts of my own individual self, just helps me to understand me, what's going on, and not lose sight so much. I do lose sight a lot, because I'm then, when certain parts of me are more present, and that's how I think and feel in that moment. And on another day I might think and feel completely different, but I still feel like I am me. I am Will. That's my name. That's who I am. Whereas my handmaid Matt, for example, who's usually always present when I am in a certain mood, so he has another way of thinking and feeling about the situation, and he has also another perspective on who I am from the outside, but still within this same human brain. And I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess I could save more details for a different episode, but that's just what really started to help me understand myself much better this year. So besides understanding myself as a subsystem or a singular person, and describing my internal experience in terms of parts of one person, I also learned 2 other very significant things this year about me, or also our system as a whole, that really helped me and us understanding ourselves and finding new paths forward in a way. So the first thing that I came across earlier this year, I think February or March, was schizoid personality, or often called schizoid personality disorder, but like not all, as I learned, not all schizoid people understand themselves as disordered. I mean, it's with a lot of mental health differences. If you know what's going on and if you find ways to cope and manage, the distress isn't really there, and then you can't really talk about a disorder anymore. And this is especially true for people with schizoid personality, because they often don't really understand their situation as problematic or distressing. And I relate a lot to that. And I should maybe I should emphasize schizoid personality is not schizophrenia. So schizophrenia is involves the experience of hallucinations or psychosis, whereas schizoid can have that. People with schizoid personality can have these experiences, but it's not what makes a schizoid person schizoid. It's more about, and it's ultra complex and deserves its own podcast, etc. But to sum it up in very briefly, it's like a lack of connection, or even a lack of interest in connecting with other people. And I would put myself somewhere there on the spectrum, not very at the far end, but definitely somewhere there. And it's often confused with autism. So people being diagnosed with schizoid personality disorder or Asperger spectrum disorder, those two diagnoses can tend to be mixed up, or many people might actually experience both. For me personally, being in spaces that are dedicated to autistic people and resources for autistic people have never quite really helped me that much. Like, I can relate to a few autistic traits, and I can look up what do autistic people who identify as autistic, do to help themselves, and that's cool, but I don't really get it, I think. I don't get autistic people the same way that they seem to get each other. It's a bit like when you're singular, you probably don't fully get the plural experience, even though you can try to empathize, but we will never really get it, you know? And I feel similar with autistic people. But when I read up on the lived experience of schizoid people, when I look up the very few resources available for schizoid people, then I get it. Like, I totally get the experience, and it really helps me figure out what is quote unquote wrong with me, or rather what I thought was wrong with me but is actually just who I am, and how I can unmask my learned behavior to navigate through a world that is very demanding emotionally, socially. And yeah, like this year, I've been working a lot on unmasking myself. Like, we've been trying to unmask our plurality, which is a completely different level of masking, but also have tried working hard on unmasking my own mask, so to speak. And yeah, learning about schizoid personality has really, really, really helped me with that, and continues to help me. So that's why I would kind of proudly label myself as somewhere on that spectrum. The next thing that we have learned during this year in the summer, we always have known this somewhere in the back of our head, but we never really understood the impact of it in that sense. So I struggle to actually talk about this. There's a lot of shame around this. So we figured that we fit under the description of what people would term being gifted. This is a very, very sensitive term because I don't know, for many gifted people it's difficult to understand what is that gift about this, because it also comes with a lot of struggles, and as we have learned, it comes with a lot of trauma. And I won't go very deep into this right now. This also deserves a completely different episode or even podcast. But it helps us to understand a lot about ourselves as a whole system also, and kind of open up new doors for us, new paths, new ideas, where to go to, where to look for, to just basically heal from certain trauma. And yeah, I think just knowing that this is a thing, like acknowledging that it is a major part of our life or our being, our existence, and that just having the how do you say, let me think first, kind of like learning about gifted trauma has helped me. It felt like we are finally allowed to talk about it. Like these thoughts that we associate with this, they've been always there. They've been always on our mind, and all these emotions and stuff. But we never really dare to talk about it because nobody talks about it, right? Or you rarely hear about it. And yeah, as I said, it's associated with so much shame that hearing about it from others for the first time, it's a bit similar to hearing about plurality, but less intense, less revelation, but similar experience, is that we finally had the words or the vocabulary or just the opportunity to express what has been lingering inside us. We haven't really managed to actually express a lot of this yet, but we feel like we finally have found a direction to go to. Yeah, maybe next year or in a couple of years we can actually talk more about this. But yeah, that was one significant experience this year, at least for us. And there's another point on my list here of things that happened this year, and I think this fits very well into our kind of discovery of giftedness, gifted trauma. And it's that we had to break up with our therapist for various reasons, but also for this reason, that we felt like we didn't really get the help that we needed, and we at that time we didn't actually understand what kind of help we actually need. And only pretty much after that, shortly after we ended that therapy, we understood, okay, there is a big bunch of gifted trauma floating around, and that's a pretty, I don't want to say unique experience, and maybe not rare, but maybe very unheard of or not often considered. And yeah, we digging a bit more into that and listening to other people's experiences, we kind of get the impression that the help that we need, nobody really in that sense can give to us. Maybe we can get support, but we can't really get the help, if you understand what I mean. And understanding that has helped us to be more confident in trusting ourselves, trusting our own instincts and intuition. I mean, for the most part of our life, we have lived like that, following our intuition, but there was always this longing for guidance, longing for someone telling us what to do, where to go, and so on, which we probably will never get. And I think this is also part of growing up in general, learning that nobody's gonna live your life for you. And yeah, that part of right now currently feels still a bit loose. And I honestly don't know where I'm going with this thought right now. So maybe I would just end this here. I don't know. And now one more final thing. So this is Matt talking again. This year we participated in the Plural Positivity World Conference. Yay. And participated, I mean, we participated last year as well, as listeners, but this year we actually gave a talk on multiplicity as a vital part of nature. And yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. It really reminds me, it was also involved with a lot of stress, but in the end, I think it was worth it. We think it was worth it, and it was fun to be part of this. It is fun to be part of this. It is fun to be part of the Plural community, the Plural Association. As awful as things sometimes seem to be for us plurals, it's also really exciting to me. And yes, Will just confirmed. It is also interesting for him to observe where things are going, how it's developing, and if you really look out for it, you can see the progress. Every now and then there are steps forward, there are steps backwards, or it feels like things are stuck in the mud, but things generally always move forward, and it feels good to be part of that, to be, yeah, even if it's just a little piece of thing like recording babbling some nonsense into a microphone and putting it out into the world. But yeah, it's that one silver lining in this whole mess of plurality, or being part of the plural community. So yeah, after all of this, what we've talked about in this episode, reflecting back on this year, the second year of our systemhood, what did we learn and what do we want to take into our next year? Let's see. So I think I mentioned that before on this podcast, but I have this 3-year plan for our system. I proposed this to our system, and they, even though they're not all of them are as optimistic about it as I am, but they agree to follow that plan. Is that the first year was trial and error, a lot of chaos, a lot of mess. The second year, this year, was more about learning things, and I think we'll learn a bunch this year. And the third year, the next year, will be about actively, consciously, professionally applying things that we have tried and learned, and then being able to actually judge how well does it actually work. Because if we would judge this now during the learning phase, where things are still awkward and we keep stumbling over our own feet, it will hurt, it will be uncomfortable. So if we would judge it now, it would just warp how things actually truly are. And that being said, so what did we learn and what do we want to take into next year? So one major thing that really improved our life quality this year was getting a better handle on our time management and project management, handling our different interests, our different goals, and somehow having a plan at our hands to actually implement this in our, I don't want to say daily life, but in our weekly or monthly life, or even seasonal. Some things that we do or plan are based on different seasons of the year. So that has helped a lot. And it's still a work in progress, but I think we have realized that it is a vital part of our life, of our happiness, of our functioning. And we want to even focus more on that. Prioritizing our schedule, prioritizing our routines and plans over whatever life externally throws at us. I mean, of course, if the house is burning, we will not be like, no, I plan to sit here and record this podcast episode. I will stay in my burning house. No, that's not recommended. But you know what I mean. Being more firm about our priorities. And if I look at our notes here, I think that's the only plan we have for next year. Our plan is to be better at our plans. Yay. That sounds awesome. But also we got new plans for this podcast. So this is for now the last episode, at least for this year. We will take a break, an indefinite break from this podcast, but we plan to come back hopefully early next year, like February, March maybe, but I don't want to make promises we don't want to disappoint you, and we don't want to set too much expectation on ourselves. But we are already excited about it. We need to actually hold ourselves back to not start thinking about it and working on it. But we have something fun planned for this podcast, which will involve other Plural systems. And so, yeah, you won't hear us talking all the time anymore on this podcast, but we will actually have active plural conversations with other plurals, which we think is very vital for the growth of this community, for raising awareness. Because honestly, we have in the plural community, we have these monthly virtual meetups in the plural association community. We regular talk to other plurals, and we also have plural friends we talk to, and we always have such interesting, fun, cool conversations. And it's such a pity that the world doesn't know about it. The world won't hear about it. So we want to bring that experience out into the world, out into the public. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I can't wait. And I hope you all, our audience, will find this fun as well. We also get some other plans at the back of our head, but we don't want to load too much onto ourselves. So we will wait a bit with that for now. But yeah, we have too many interests. We have too many ideas. Just too little time to do everything. But also, I like to call myself old, since we are body age plus 30, but also we are still young. We have so much time to fill. So we just need to practice patience, I guess. Giving a side look over to my headmate Will. Patience is key. And that being said, I hope you guys are patient, since we will take a break for a while now before we upload again new episodes. Until then, well, if you haven't listened yet to older episodes, do that. I don't know. Go outside or stay inside, do your hobbies, whatever. I'm signing off now, but doing some official outro, I guess. This already felt like an outro, so I will just improvise here and just tell you, or rather I will ask you, how has your year been? How do you spend your syscoversary? And what are your plans for the upcoming year, wherever you define a new year? And with that, I will end this recording here. This episode was brought to you by the Voices of Jarvis, with me, Matt, as your host, and my handmaid Will here. Thank you all beautiful souls for listening and your support. If you enjoyed this episode and you thought that it brought a little bit of value to your life, please tell a friend or more and leave a like, subscribe, rate, comment, and all these things that you do to show your support and appreciation. Many thanks. Thanks for sticking with us this year on this podcast series, and we hope to see you next year. Not see you, but not hear you, but you will hear us next year. So stay tuned. And as I always like to say, let your personality shine brighter than your eyes and your confidence shout louder than your voice. Until next time with Housemates for Life. And have some final outtakes for your chuckle muscles that I'm not... Wait. And have some outtakes for your chuckle muscle. No. And have some final outtakes for your chuckle muscle. I'm not actually sure if we have any in this episode. Well, I disproved my point just right before that. Anyhow, bye-bye. Okay, Matt needs to go, come to the front. This episode was brought to you by